Ever wonder why the strongest men at work completely collapse at home? It's not because they're weak, it's because they never learn how to lead with a man of steel mindset. You can dominate in business, crush goals, stay calm under pressure, but the second your wife pulls away, it feels like your whole world's on fire. And no one ever taught you how to stay centered when the person you love stops trusting you. Most men either explode, shut down, or start chasing. And that's exactly what kills attraction. In this video, I'm going to show you what I call as the man of steel mindset and how leadership regulation turns emotional chaos into calm, confidence, and connection. Because until you learn to lead your emotions like a warrior, every relationship you have will eventually crumble. But once you master this, you become the man she can finally feel safe trusting again. I once worked with a guy, we'll call him Mark. He was the definition of success. Built a 7-figure business from nothing, led a team of 50, coached his employees like a general on the battlefield. But at home, it was a different story. His wife looked at him in the eyes one night and said, "You're not the man I fell in love with." That hit harder than any loss he'd taken in business. See, Mark thought leadership meant control. So when things got tense, he reacted, raised his voice, defended his position, tried to fix everything right away. Every time she pulled back, he chased harder. Every time she got emotional, he tried to shut it down. And with every reaction, he stopped being safety. She stopped feeling safe. Her trust wasn't broken by one big mistake. It died slowly in 1,000 small moments where she stopped believing he could hold her storm. That's when it hit me. Strength isn't about muscle or money. It's about emotional regulation. It's the ability to stay calm when everything around you feels like it's burning down. Because if you can't control your inner world, you'll lose the outer one too. It's like a pilot who can land a jet in a thunderstorm but loses control when his wife's emotion hit turbulence. He's trained for chaos everywhere except in his own living room. And that's where leadership regulation matters the most. Here's where most men fail. We've been trained our whole lives to dominate externally, to solve it, fix it, to win. We can command a room, close a deal, or lead a team into chaos and come out on top. But when it comes to our emotions, when the woman we love looks at us with disappointment or worse, indifference, we collapse. We start reacting, explaining, defending, trying to control the moment instead of leading it. Because here's the truth. Control is not leadership. Control is fear disguised as strength. And every time you try to control her emotions, you teach her one thing, that she's not safe with you. When she stops feeling safe, she stops opening up. Conversations turn into arguments or silence. You either explode trying to be heard or shut down because you're tired of losing. And the space between you grows day by day, word by word, till one morning she's there, but she's gone. Most divorces don't start in court. They start the day she stops feeling safe around you. That's the moment she emotionally disconnects. And that's the moment most men start panicking, trying to fix what can't be fixed by force. But here's the good news. You can learn this skill. You must learn this skill. You need to learn this skill. You can train emotional regulation just like any muscle. And when you do, everything changes. Because the same calm that makes you unstoppable in business is the same calm that makes her trust you again. It's not too late. You just have to stop chasing control and start mastering composure. Think of it like this. If you're a captain of a ship and your wife is the crew, the storm isn't the problem. The storm always comes. The problem is when the captain panics at the first wave. If he starts yelling at the sea or abandoning the wheel, the crew lose faith. But when he steadies his hand, locks his eyes on the horizon, and says, "I've got this," everyone calms down. That's emotional regulation. That's leadership. So what's the solution? It's what I call the man of steel mindset. That's unshakable calm and clarity under emotional pressure. It's the ability to hold your ground even when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. Because just like steel, you can bend, but you don't have to break. You can take the heat, the pressure, the impact, and still stand tall. When your wife throws words that sting, when your home feels cold and distant, when your emotions want to take over, the man of steel doesn't react. He regulates. He leads from composure, not chaos. He needs to. See, every man is made of metal, but only the ones who go through the fire, who learn to regulate that heat, ever become steel. Because steel isn't born strong, it's forged that way. So I'm going to go over the 3 pillars of the man of steel mindset. Pillar 1 is emotional regulation. Respond, do not react. When she's emotional, your job isn't to fix it, it's to stay grounded, to lead her emotions by managing your own. Example of this is when she says, I don't know if I love you anymore, the weak man argues or begs. The strong man listens, breathes, and says, I hear you. That response disarms her fear instead of feeds it. Pillar 2 is leadership regulation. You lead with direction, not dominance. Leadership at home isn't barking orders, it's setting emotional direction. It's saying, I'm not sure how we fix this yet, but I'm committed to finding out. That sentence alone gives her what she craves most, safety and certainty. Pillar 3 is presence under pressure. Hold space instead of defending. When she's venting, don't take the bait. She's not always attacking you. She's testing whether your strength is real. So when she says, you never listen, instead of defending, you say, you're right. I wasn't hearing you before. I'm hearing you now. That's not weakness, that's mastery. Because being a man of steel doesn't mean being cold or emotionless. It means having the courage to feel deeply without letting those feelings control your direction. It's what makes a man trustworthy. It's what makes her feel safe again. And let me tell you about a man I'll call David. David was the kind of guy everyone admired. Built his own company, provided for his family, checked every box of success. But at home, he was losing everything that mattered. His wife had stopped talking to him. They weren't fighting, which actually made it worse. It was cold silence. The kind where you can feel her body in the same room, but her heart's just miles away. One night, she looked at him and said, I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. And that broke him. For weeks, he did what every man does when fear takes over. He chased, he texted way too much, he apologized for things that didn't need apologies. He tried to convince her to stay, and with every move he made, she pulled further away. That's when we started working together. I told him you can't outchase emotional distance. You have to outlead it. So he stopped reacting. He started regulating. When she was cold, he didn't panic. When she tested him with sarcasm or silence, he didn't defend himself. He just said, I get it. You don't trust what you're seeing yet, and that's okay. You'll know when it's real. And at first, nothing happened. She stayed distant, but he stayed grounded. Then something changed. Her tone softened. She started asking how his day was again. And one night, she actually sat next to him on the couch instead of the far end. And then, after a few weeks of calm consistency, she said something small but powerful. You feel different. That was the moment she started to believe again. He didn't fix his marriage by force. He fixed himself. Then the marriage followed. Because here's the truth. A woman's heart doesn't open to control. It opens to safety. And safety is built when she sees a man who can hold his ground, who can absorb the storm without losing himself in it. That's the power of calm, masculine energy. It doesn't collapse. It anchors. All right. So we've talked about what the man of steel mindset is. Now let's break down how you can actually build it. Because emotional regulation isn't magic, it's a muscle. And just like in the gym, you strengthen it through reps, discipline, and awareness. So step 1 is awareness. You got to catch the triggers before it controls you. So awareness is the first rep. You can't regulate when you don't recognize. For most men, the problem isn't that they get angry or defensive. It's that they realize it after they've already blown up or shut down. So here's what I tell clients. You have to name the trigger. If she says something that hits a nerve, maybe it's disrespect, sarcasm, or just that tone that makes you feel small. You say to yourself, okay, I'm triggered now. That 1 second of awareness separates the man who reacts from the man who leads. That's the difference between chaos and control. It's like seeing a storm on the radar before it hits. You don't have to stop the storm. You just need to know it's coming so you can steer the ship. Step 2 is regulation. Got to breathe, pause, and respond with intent. Okay. So once you're aware, you regulate. Again, you pause, you breathe. You give your body a chance to catch up to your mind. Here's a simple technique. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds. Do that twice before you speak. That slows your nervous system, clears your mind, and gives you space to respond like a man, not react like a boy. So let's say she says that you never listen. Your instinct might be to just snap. Instead, you breathe, then say, "You're right. I haven't been listening the way that you need. I'm here now." That's regulation in action. And it builds safety faster than any apology ever could. Step 3 is leadership. You have to set the tone and the direction, not rules or demands. That's what everybody gets wrong. Leadership at home isn't about control, it's about direction. The man of steel leads with his presence, not his power. So instead of saying, "You need to stop talking to me like that," you say, "Hey, I want to talk about this, but I'm not going to argue. Let's take a minute and come back to it." See the difference? You're not shutting her down. You're guiding the conversation. You're setting the tone. You're saying, "I've got this," without ever needing to say it. That's what creates emotional gravity, the kind of energy that draws her in instead of pushes her away. And every time you do that, you're showing her and yourself that your emotions answer to you, not the other way around. Step 4, which is one of the most important, is reflection. You have to ask yourself, did I lead her to safety or feed her fear? After every interaction, take 60 seconds to reflect. Don't overthink it. Just ask, did I lead her to safety or did I feed her fear? If you raise your voice, get defensive, or try to win, you fed her fear. If you listen, stay calm, and led the tone, you led her to safety. This one question will hold you accountable in the moments no one else sees. So here's kind of a daily practice of control that you can go through. Here's that daily exercise to really build that muscle fast. I want you to stand in front of the mirror every morning and ask yourself 3 questions. 1, what emotion am I carrying into today? 2, what kind of man do I want to be under pressure? And 3, will I bend or will I break? Write down what you notice. You'll start seeing patterns, moments where you lead strong and moments where you slip. And that's how mastery is built, not in big breakthroughs, but in quiet awareness, one moment at a time. So let me kind of paint you a picture here. If you don't learn emotional regulation, if you keep reacting instead of responding, leading from emotion instead of direction, this is how it plays out. You'll lose her trust, one moment at a time. Not because you cheated, not because you didn't love her, but because she stopped feeling safe around you. And when a woman stops feeling safe, she starts pulling away. At first, she's quieter. Then she's colder. Then one day, she's gone. Even if she's still sitting right next to you on the couch. You'll tell yourself you'll do better next time. But here's the truth most men don't want to hear. If you don't fix what's inside of you, you'll just repeat it with someone new. Different face, same argument. Different name, same silence. Different woman, same wound. I have men that I'm coaching who are on their 3rd, 4th, 5th marriage, and they all tell me, "Noah, I thought it was going to be different." But that's where the emotional residue carries over. It may not look the exact same, but it rhymes very similar. And the worst part, you'll pass it down. You'll raise sons who explode when they're hurt. It's called a father wound because that's what they saw their father do. You'll raise daughters who don't trust men, another father wound, because the first man they ever loved couldn't make them feel safe. But it doesn't have to go that way because there's another path of calm leadership, the path where you become the man who can walk through fire and not lose his center. where your wife starts to relax again, not because you begged for her love, but because she feels your strength again. That's when desire comes back. That's when she looks at you and sees the man that she can follow, not out of fear, but out of trust. So this is the heaven versus hell moment every man faces. In one life, you'll live in chaos, broken connection, anger, and regret. In the other, you're calm, confident, respected, desired. Your kids look at you and see peace instead of pressure. Your wife looks at you and feels home again. The choice is made right here, not in your marriage, not in your heart, but in your ability to regulate your emotions. Think of it like standing at a fork in the road. Down one path is fire. It's chaos, blame, loneliness. You can hear the echoes of your own anger bouncing off empty walls. Down the other path is stillness, not because life is easy, but because you learned how to master the storm inside. The direction you walk doesn't depend on her, it depends on you. One choice leads to destruction, the other builds legacy. So here's what I want you to remember. Being a man of steel isn't about being emotionless. Most men get that completely wrong. It's about mastering your emotions, not letting them master you. It's about learning to bend under pressure without breaking. When you understand the man of steel mindset, everything changes. You stop reacting. You start leading. You stop chasing. You start anchoring. You stop trying to control her and start creating safety. Because safety is what rekindles trust. Trust is what reignites desire. And desire is what rebuilds the marriage you thought was gone. You don't need her permission to become this man. You just need to decide that it's time. It's time to lead again, not through force, but through presence. This is your moment. The difference between losing everything and rebuilding, it starts right here with your next decision. If you're ready to learn how to lead at home with strength, calm, and strategy, if you're tired of walking on eggshells, tired of feeling like an outsider in your own marriage, then it's time to take action. Click the link below and book a call with me. We'll talk one-on-one about where you're at, what's falling apart, and exactly how to rebuild it step by step through the heroic husband method. No fluff, no therapy speak, just precision, leadership, and the strategy to become the man she can trust again. You've mastered success in the world. Now it's time to master success at home. Step into leadership. Let's rebuild what matters the most. See you in the next video.